If you would like to support me, I have a Redbubble link down in the description and bio. Also, I have social media pages on Instagram, Twitter, DeviantArt, Kara, and much more. Thanks for watching. When it comes to the topic of remakes, people often bring up iconic games that changed the landscape of gaming, but are in desperate need of polish. What if companies started remaking bad games? This might sound pretty strange on a surface level, but hear me out. There are a lot of bad games out there, but that doesn't mean that the entire game itself is bad. There are games with interesting concepts that aren't entirely fulfilled. I think there's a little bit of good in every game, even the bad ones. Case in point, we have the first Drakengard game. I played Drakengard a while back, and I found myself not really enjoying it. But for some reason, I kept pressing on. I found myself intrigued by the story and characters the most. The whole cast of characters are completely insane. The story is honestly so fresh and unique for a game. It's very twisted and far removed from a lot of JRPGs that come out of Japan. The art in these games is also just fantastic. Each character has a distinct look, and the vibes of the game in these are really cool too, especially when it starts to get to the end of the game when things get crazy. So what exactly stopped me and many other people from enjoying the game fully? The gameplay. So when Yoko Taro was thinking about the gameplay for this, he was aiming for a mix between Ace Combat and Dynasty Warriors 2. This sounds good on paper, but in execution, not so much. I've never played an Ace Combat game, but I love the Dynasty Warrior games. The problem is the ground segments that try to emulate the Dynasty Warrior games feel terrible to play. Hitting the enemy feels so bad, and the weapons, regardless which one you choose, just don't feel good. Your hits feel so inconsistent. You also move at a snail's pace, which makes getting from point A to B a nightmare. Now, I think a lot of this comes down to the Dynasty Warrior game that they were trying to emulate. 2 was the first game in Dynasty Warriors that tried to do a more open area style of combat. I know a lot of people still like 2, but honestly I went back and played it and it's pretty slow and janky. I think if they did make a remake, it would make sense to try to do the Dynasty Warriors combat again, but try the style of later Dynasty Warrior games. Modern entries are more flashy and fast-paced, and I think that would serve as a massive upgrade. The other portion of the gameplay revolves around you riding on Angela and shooting things out of the sky. I never found myself too engaged in these sections, but that's because I'm not really a huge fan of this style of gameplay. I think they have really cool aspects about them, like Angela progressively growing stronger throughout the game. These parts are much better than the ground segments though. Some of the bosses in this are pretty janky with Angela. I think it will be cool if they tried to do a shoot 'em up style like in Nier Automata, and did similar things with Angela segments. That way it'd be a lot more cinematic and fun to play. So that's all the suggestions I have for a remake of Drakengard. I'll admit there's a certain charm to the jankiness of the first game, but I think the game has a lot more potential if it were remade. Do you guys have any suggestions for the remake? Let me know down in the comments below.